Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for nearly all English learners out there. How do you actually learn to speak English confidently and fluently? Here's the thing. Most people struggle with speaking English, right? They're reading, they're writing, they're studying grammar like it's going out of style, but somehow when it's time to actually speak, they freeze up or it just doesn't come out the way they imagined. Sound familiar? The real problem is that while everyone wants to speak English, most people don't know how to learn to speak correctly. There's this gap between knowing the language and using it in real life fluently, comfortably, and naturally. And today, we're here to bridge that gap together. So let's break down what really works, what holds people back, and how to start building that confidence today. And hey, if you find this conversation useful, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to stay in the loop with more tips and tricks to master your English. Let's get started.
All right, so today we're diving into something I think a lot of us struggle with,
Yeah.
speaking English confidently.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the vocab, you understand the grammar,
Right.
but then, like, actually speaking out loud,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a whole different.
It is a whole different skill set for
Yeah.
sure.
So we're looking at this British Council article called How to Learn to Speak English,
Okay.
and it's got all these tips for going from, like, hesitant learner
Yeah.
to confident communicator.
I like it.
So they start off by saying,
Okay.
we all have this feeling of, I understand, but I can't speak.
Yeah, that's really common.
And they say that confidence is like everything.
Confidence is huge, but it's also like,
Yeah.
how do you get that confidence?
Right, because you need confidence to speak,
Exactly.
but you need to speak to get confidence.
It's a chicken and egg thing.
So where do you even begin?
Right.
Well, they say we need to start by shifting our focus when we listen to English.
Okay.
They call it active listening.
Right.
But it's not just about understanding the words.
It's about going deeper.
Like what?
So you're listening for the rhythm,
Okay.
the linking of words,
Okay.
even drop letters sometimes.
Yeah.
And they say that mimicking these things is what makes you sound more natural.
Okay, so it's like treating speech like music
Yeah.
instead of just like focusing on the words.
It is like music.
Yeah, you've got to like tune into the melody.
The flow.
Yeah, before you can sing the song.
Exactly. And I think that's where people get tripped up.
Yeah.
They focus so much on the grammar and vocab
Right.
that they miss those subtle things.
So it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly how you say it.
Okay, so active listening is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Well, so they have this scenario.
Okay.
Like imagine a colleague asks you, did you have a good weekend?
Oh, yeah.
And your mind goes blank.
Ugh, hate that.
You know the words. You know the grammar.
But I just can't speak.
You can't form a sentence?
Yeah, it's like the pressure just gets to me.
So they say don't overthink it.
Okay. Easier said than done.
I know, but instead just reflect the question in your answer.
I see. So, like, because they use past simple,
Yeah.
my answer should too.
Right. So you could say, it was lovely, thanks. We went to
Mhm.
my parents' house. Did you do anything nice?
Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah.
You're like using their structure as a framework.
It takes the pressure off
Yeah.
and it helps you be more fluent.
It's like a confidence hack.
It is.
Okay, so we've got active listening, reflecting questions.
What else?
They also say embrace your mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But that's so hard.
It is hard,
Like, how do you get comfortable with making mistakes?
especially in front of people.
Right, it's scary.
So they say start in environments where you feel comfortable,
Okay.
like practice with classmates
Okay.
or like a language exchange group,
Okay.
or even just find a language partner.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, someone else who maybe isn't fluent.
Right.
So there's not so much pressure.
Because you're both going to make mistakes.
Exactly. You can laugh about it together.
Okay, so embrace the mess practice with others.
Uh-huh. What else? Speaking of pronunciation,
Yeah.
they mention a tool that can help you.
Okay.
It's called the phonemic alphabet.
Now, I'll be honest, that always seemed a little intimidating to me.
I know a lot of people feel that way.
Like, why do we need a whole other alphabet?
It can seem confusing,
Yeah.
but it really helps with pronunciation
Okay.
because it's a set of symbols that represent the sounds,
So instead of trying to sound out words based on how they're spelled,
which can be so misleading.
yeah, English spelling is crazy.
It is.
So you're saying I can actually see the sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you first learned the phonemic alphabet?
Oh, yeah.
Was there a word that, like, surprised you?
Oh, tons of them. But one that sticks out is choir.
Choir.
I used to pronounce it choir.
Oh, yeah, like with 2 syllables.
Right. And then I saw it written phonetically, and it was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
it's just one syllable. Choir.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like those aha moments.
That make language learning fun.
Exactly.
Speaking of aha moments,
Yeah.
are you ready for a mind-blowing fact from this article?
Hit me with it.
Most English conversations today
Okay.
are actually between non-native speakers.
Really?
I know, crazy, right?
That is mind-blowing.
So what does that mean?
It means English belongs to everyone who uses it.
Huh.
You're not just learning a language.
Yeah.
You're part of a global community that's shaping it.
That is so cool.
Right.
Like, it takes the pressure off having to sound like a native speaker.
It's more about finding your own voice.
Yeah.
And expressing yourself confidently.
And they even say that non-native speakers are actually simplifying some parts of English grammar.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Language always evolves.
So we're not just learning English.
Right.
We're contributing to its evolution.
We are all part of it.
I'm already feeling more confident just thinking about that.
That's great.
Okay. So we've talked about active listening, reflecting questions,
Embracing mistakes.
the phonemic alphabet.
And this whole idea of like non-native speakers shaping the language.
Yeah.
But there's one more thing we have to talk about.
What's that?
Speaking anxiety.
Ugh, the dreaded speaking anxiety.
I think this is something almost everyone struggles with.
At some point, for sure.
What do they say about dealing with it?
Well, they say it often comes from a fear of being judged
Okay.
or laughed at
Yeah.
or making mistakes in front of others.
That makes sense.
Like, you don't want to look foolish.
Right. Or you're afraid of not being able to express yourself clearly.
Uh-huh. Or losing your audience.
Those are all very real fears.
They are.
So how do we cope with these anxieties?
They say the first step is figuring out what specifically triggers you.
So like really understanding the root of the problem.
Exactly. Then you can start developing strategies. Like what? Well, if pronunciation is a big one,
Yeah.
they have a really simple suggestion.
Okay.
Just ask for help.
You can say, "Excuse me, I'm still learning English. Could you help me pronounce this word correctly?"
Sure. I love that.
It's so simple, but it takes the pressure off.
And it shows that you're aware and trying to improve.
Exactly. And it can lead to some interesting conversations.
Right.
Because people love to talk about language.
That's true.
And what about those times when someone interrupts you
Ugh.
or tries to finish your sentences?
It's so frustrating.
It can be, but the article says it's okay to politely assert yourself.
Like how?
You could say something like, "Please let me finish my thought."
Okay.
Or, "I'd like to finish what I was saying."
I like that.
It's about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And reminding people that you deserve to be heard.
Even if you're still learning,
Exactly.
it's also important to remember that sometimes people interrupt without even realizing they're doing it.
It's true. It's often not intentional.
So by speaking up,
Yeah,
you're helping them be more aware.
exactly. It's a win-win.
Okay, so the key takeaway here is that even though speaking anxiety is normal,
It's total normal.
there are things we can do to manage it.
Absolutely.
And the more you practice,
Uh-huh.
the more confident you become.
Practice makes perfect.
It's about finding that balance between pushing yourself
Yeah.
and creating a supportive environment.
Where you feel safe to make mistakes.
And remembering that you're not alone in this.
We're all in this together.
Okay, that was a lot of great info.
It was a lot.
So let's take a quick break to let it all sink in.
Sounds good.
And we'll be right back with more from the British Council on Speaking English with Confidence.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is like a whole new way of thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like you're not just learning English, you're part of this global movement.
Exactly.
So we've talked about active listening and reflecting questions
Mm-hmm.
and embracing mistakes.
Yeah,
And even using that phonemic alphabet.
right. And that amazing fact about
Oh, yeah.
most conversations being between non-native speakers.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to go back to speaking anxiety for a sec.
Of course, it's a big one.
So let's say you've been practicing all these tips
Yeah.
and you're feeling more confident,
Uh-huh.
but then you get into a situation and you freeze up.
It happens.
What do you do?
They have some advice for those moments of panic.
Okay.
It starts with understanding why you're anxious.
So, what is it about this situation that's making me nervous?
Right. Is it the people you're talking to?
Oh, okay.
Or the topic?
Maybe.
Or are you just putting too much pressure on yourself?
I think that's me sometimes.
Once you know the trigger,
Uh,
you can find ways to cope.
okay, so what are some of their suggestions?
Well, if pronunciation is your main worry,
Yeah.
they have a really simple but powerful tip.
I'm intrigued.
Just ask for help.
Straight up ask someone.
Yeah, just say something like, "Excuse me, I'm still learning English. Could you help me pronounce this correctly?"
Oh, that's a good idea.
It takes the pressure off you.
And it shows that you're trying.
Exactly, and you might even learn something new about the language.
True, because sometimes even native speakers disagree on pronunciation.
That happens all the time.
Okay, so what about when someone interrupts you
Oh, yeah.
or tries to finish your sentence?
That could be so annoying.
It is. It's like they think they're helping, but it just makes me more self-conscious.
The article says it's okay to politely push back.
How?
You can just say, "Please let me finish my thought,"
Okay.
or "I'd like to finish what I was saying."
I like that it's direct, but not rude.
Exactly. You're setting boundaries
Yeah.
and reminding people that you have a voice.
Even if you're still learning the language.
Right. And sometimes people interrupt without even realizing it.
That's true.
So by speaking up, you're helping them be more aware of their communication style.
It's like a double win.
It is.
So even though speaking anxiety is normal,
It's totally normal.
there are ways to deal with it.
And the more you practice, the easier it gets.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
But also creating a safe space to learn.
And knowing that you're not alone in this.
We're all in this together.
Okay, so to recap, we've talked about
Active listening.
reflecting questions,
Embracing mistakes.
using the phonemic alphabet,
That amazing statistic about non-native speakers.
which I still can't get over,
It's pretty wild.
and of course, strategies for dealing with speaking anxiety.
It's all about building confidence.
Yeah, and remembering that you have a unique voice and perspective to share.
Your voice matters.
Okay, so before we get to our final thoughts,
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
The article talked about how non-native speakers are simplifying English grammar.
Uh-huh.
So I'm curious, what other ways do you think the language might evolve
Ooh, that's a good one.
as more people from different backgrounds start using it?
I think we'll see new words and phrases emerge,
For sure.
like slang and idioms that reflect different cultures.
Yeah, and maybe even new grammatical structures.
It's possible.
It's like we're witnessing the birth of a new era of English,
That's a great way to put it.
one that's more inclusive and representative of the world's diversity.
And you as a learner are part of that.
I love that.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities.
So on that note, I think it's time for our final thoughts.
Okay, let's do it. It's like English is becoming this amazing tapestry.
With threads from all over the world.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into speaking English confidently,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
What's that?
Confidence isn't something you're born with.
Right.
It's something you develop
Through practice.
through experience.
Through making mistakes even.
Yeah, it's all part of the process.
So don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah. The more you use English,
Uh-huh.
the more confident you'll become.
It's like anything else. The more you do it,
Yeah.
the better you get at it.
So keep practicing, keep learning, and keep exploring this incredible language.
And remember, you have a unique voice and something special to contribute to the world of English.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.